Live not by lies. We're going to talk about lying and preppers, why it's a terrible, terrible idea. There's a lot of reasons why it's a terrible idea, so I hope you hear me out. I know some of you might just be already mad, but you're going to want to stick around. There's going to be an interesting section even for you if you want to lie all you want. We're going to be talking about operational security at the end of this video, and we're also going to be talking about interrogation resistance, how to keep information you need to stay secret. And I'm going to be approaching it from how to resist interrogation techniques without lying, and do what you will with that. I've traveled a bit. I've had a lot of experiences in different places, and some of those experiences were with organizations that work in dangerous zones, and I've had hostage training, and I've had interrogation resistance training. These are taught by people who know stuff, and I'm going to pass some of that wisdom along to you as we go along here, so absolutely. But let's start off with first things first, that we should not live by lies. We are trying to undo and prepare to weather the storm from the damage of people who lie. Right? A government that lies, corporations that lie, rich people that lie, people that want to do us harm, that lie to us. This is why we're in the boat that we're in, is because of lying. And some folks advocate that we should lie to protect ourselves. Where have you heard that before? Where have you heard people saying that it's all right to lie in order to protect people? Yeah. We've been hearing a lot of that recently, haven't we? It's for your safety. We're gonna lie. So if you, in that supermarket with your bags of rice, look at the person who says, what's that all for, and then you lie to them, how are you any different? That's just. Are you just the same as them, just with less power? Is that really what this is? Because think about this. When we lie to somebody, we're saying that I am going to decide how much truth this person receives. I need to determine whether or not they need the truth in this instance, and that's playing God with the truth. You're not God. I'm not God. We need to hold to the fact that there is an objective truth. If you let go of there being an objective truth, I am truly terrified of you, and I don't want you anywhere near me or the people that I care about. That's a simple truth. And you know what? I'm not the only one. If you lie to outsiders, people within your group, people within your family are going to stop trusting you, especially if you're good at it. If you're good at it, people who lie when it's expedient start lying when it's convenient. Usually the two go hand in hand. You say, well, I would never lie to my family. I would never lie to my other people that are working with me. I would never lie to my boss. Sure you would. But nobody will believe you. You're the little boy who cried wolf. Once somebody sees you lie, if they don't see you come back from that and say, I'm sorry, I really shouldn't have done that, I'm not going to do that again. If you're like, oh, well, those people didn't need to know, and it's none of their business, and so I just lied to them, and they don't deserve the truth. Yeah, well, what happens when you don't think that I deserve the truth? Or your wife doesn't deserve the truth, or your husband doesn't deserve the truth? Lying destroys relationships. It is a horrible idea. It's destroying our society now. And if you want to set up a little society to survive what's to come, you need to speak the truth. Now, operational security. Does that mean that we always say everything? No. Sometimes you need to speak the truth, and sometimes you need to shut your mouth. Sometimes you need to change the subject. Yeah. Operational security. If you're storing up food to get through what's coming, the Shtf, or the without rule of law, the end of the world as we know it, Teotihuacan, you need to protect you and yours. If you've stored up for a rainy day, and a rainy day comes, there's going to be a lot of people who haven't prepared. And the truth is, you're just not going to be able to help all of them. You may be able to help some, and you should help as many as you can. But that may mean you give them seeds and you send them on their way when they're hungry. Because there's just only so much that you can do. Noah didn't open up the door to the ark and let everybody in. Not once the rain started. Boats with open doors sink. The simple truth is, you do need to have operational security. You need to keep what you have secret. And the best way to do that is just to not talk about it, not have it visible. Store it up out of the line of sight. Don't really have people over if that's the case. Also, just don't talk about it. Yeah, and you're like looking at me and going, how come you're talking about it? I am a single guy who has considered it and has come to the conclusion that I think I can do more good for everyone who's watching by being open. People like me out here on YouTube and elsewhere, yes, we're putting ourselves on the line. And, our bad guy's going to come in the dead of night because they know, maybe, but I'll trust the Lord and we'll get through it somehow. But it's just me. So that's why I can make some of these decisions. Most of you have families, and it's not just you. Okay, so you need to keep quiet and if you're online, make sure you're using aliases. Make sure that what you're saying can't be tracked back to you by other people. Sure, YouTube and Google, they know who you are, but and the government knows who you are, but generally speaking, they're not the ones going to be coming after you. And people are like, well, the government's going to come for your food preps. It's like, no, they're not. At least not at first. The government is not going to come for you because you are too small of a fish. Now, if you have a warehouse full of pallets of food and such like that, yes, they are going to come to your building warehouse with trucks, and they're going to use pallet jacks and forklift loaders to put those on trucks, and they will take all of that. Yes, that will happen. If you have a bunch of stuff in your basement, a bunch of food and buckets and stuff like that, they're not going to come after you. Your local government might. And the people around you might come after you if they know for sure. But, you're a small fish to fry. They're not going to come after you if you have a couple $100 worth of food, okay? If you have pallets full, you need to watch out. If they start going after the people with pallets full in warehouses, you should start wondering and start considering more about what you need to do to keep your stuff safe. But that's it. All right, and finally, let's talk about interrogation resistance. Someone asks you a question that you don't want to answer. What do? You have a number of options if you are not willing to lie. And I would suggest that you don't lie. First, morally. Second, because, as I said, it destroys relationships. Whether that person knows you lied or not, the people around you know that you're lying. 3, they can catch you in a lie. The more you lie, the more they can catch you in something. And as soon as they catch you lying, it's going to go bad for you, right? And then finally, here's the other thing, is that people can tell when you're lying. Most people are bad at lying. When you lie, people can tell. And so you shouldn't do that, because if they tell that you're lying, so what do? There's this little thing called a short, truthful statement, an STS. What are you doing? Something short, something truthful, but maybe it doesn't answer the question properly. Take the instance that you're in the supermarket and what's all that rice for? Well, one, you can just deflect the question and just change the subject, right? Just, it is a lot of food, isn't it? Hey, did you hear about, or did you see that sale back there? Or what do you think about, and just change the subject. Deflect and change the subject. If they press you on it, and this is where it becomes an interrogation. If you can't leave, it becomes an interrogation, okay? That's what it is. If you can't leave, whether it's threats to your person, whether you're locked in a room, or whether you're just detained somehow, and you need to answer the question. You can, silence is your friend. Just don't say anything. Now, you need to say something before you don't say anything, but, what's all that rice for? If this is suddenly illegal or something like that, you're not allowed to buy that much rice, or, unless you have a really good reason. You can say, I have a lot of people to feed. Now, for me, that would not be a short, truthful statement. For you, maybe that is truthful. I have a lot of people to feed, or I'm just stocking up. You kind of play it off as, this is a one-off. Or if you do have an event or something like that coming up, okay. But short and truthful. Don't get into a long story. Short and truthful. In a more serious situation, where you're being detained by, something else, and someone's trying to shake you down for information on your group or something, or your family, where's so-and-so right now? And you just say, I was just out getting groceries, and you guys stopped me. That's a short, truthful statement, right? They're like, well, where's your daughter, or where's your son, where's your wife? When are they getting back? And you don't want to give up that information. You say, I'm just out here getting groceries, and all this happened, and you see how I just didn't answer the question? I just moved in a different direction. You're just talking about what you want to talk about instead of what they're talking about. And you just keep doing that. Just start talking about what you want to talk about. And just keep moving them. And if they bring the question back up again, you just circle back around. Every time you get flustered, start off with your short, truthful statement. I was just out here getting groceries, and we're just getting some food because we're hungry, and and you just keep circling back to that. If there's a lot of times like that, it's going to be people shaking you down for information on other people. That's what we were trained for, especially where's the other team? What are they doing? Who are they talking to? Where are they going to be at what time? What's their address? And those are questions we didn't want to answer. If I get kidnapped or something like that, I don't want everyone else to get kidnapped as well. Also, you need to be thinking as a team, if something like this is possibility, you need to compartmentalize the information that people have, okay? So that if someone does get pinched, they don't have information, right? Or that there's a limited amount of information they have. If it's people's locations and times and stuff like that, you need to realize that person's been abducted, and you need to change everything. You need to move the people. If people are certain addresses, you need to move them to new addresses. We talked about this overseas a lot, where it was, within 48 hours, everyone that where they are will be moved. So you only need to hold out for 48 hours. Because when it comes to torture, when it comes to really intense interrogation, everybody breaks. I know in the news, like, torture doesn't, yield reliable information. BS. Everybody breaks. The question is how much will it take before you break? How long will it take before you break? That's the truth. So you need to count the cost of how far you're willing to go to protect people. And because, I will never give up is not true. You're lying. Remember how we said don't lie? You can't take anything. When they start cutting off fingers and toes, you're going to start talking. When they start talking about taking off fingers and toes of people you love, you will start talking. It's what it is. Delay, build relationships with your abductors as best you can, and fold when you got to fold. But that's the name of the game. There's your introduction to interrogation resistance, and that is the quick and dirty of it. But all right, hopefully none of that ever needs to be used by you or anyone you care about, but you can use it in soft form for day-to-day kind of stuff, short, truthful statements, and circle back to those things and just change the subject to and talk about what you want to talk about and steer the questions that direction. All right, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Do what's right. And if we're building little societies to get through this thing together, we need to build good societies that are built on mutual trust, respect, and truth. All right. I'll talk to you guys later. Steve Poplar out.